At this point, I feel like they're all ganging up on me.
At this point, I feel like they're all ganging up on me because I'm going to play the perpetual victim because they didn't say what I wanted to hear. Happy 90-day Fiance Love in Paradise Day, everybody. We are going to get started with Adriano and Alex, who Alex is still trying to convince him that it is the way, her way is the way. And although I don't necessarily disagree in the sense of she's talking about religion and that is her thing, and, you know, to each their own, and I don't disagree with the fact that he is never going to be in some kind of monogamous relationship constantly beating the drum of threesomes. But that being said, she is getting kind of insufferable with her trying to push what she believes on him when he's made it clear over and over and over again he just does not believe that. I mean, what do you do at some point when someone tells you about 37 times that that's not for them? They're okay with it being for you, but that's not for them. What do you do at that point? If you still try to convince them, do you really think you're going to make a difference or you're going to push them away? I wonder. Not really. I'm going to go with the latter. But first, hit up a super thanks if you want to show support for the channel, or at least comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share the show. I definitely appreciate it. Once we get to 1,000, we're going to be looking at that live show, most likely coming when the next season of Married at First Sight comes. Still haven't announced the date, I don't think yet. I haven't seen it, but we will see. But any support is appreciated. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything. I do not take it for granted. All right, let's get started with Adriano and Alex, the fun couple of, well, they're all fun couples. None of them are going to last. They all have issues. But this one is particularly interesting because I was definitely against the threesome guy. And although I don't agree with that aspect of a relationship and him pushing that, it's, you know, Alex makes herself look more and more bad every time she gets into it because no one is on her side, if you will. No one sees her perspective as she wants people to see, and she's getting mad about it when he's been honest about everything. So you got to give the guy some respect for some honesty, and yet you're still trying to push it. So how well do you think that's going to go for you?
Guys are Catholic, but he believes in nothing. And so that is a concern of mine. I'm a practicing Christian. That is a part of me. That is what keeps me sane. And honestly, if he wants a loving wife, he should want the faith that's always instilled in me.
He should want the faith that is instilled in you because it made you happy, because it's done well for you. That is great that that has done well for you. That is great that that has really brought you a fulfillment in life. I think that as a religious person or as someone that is a Christian, you do find fulfillment in it. But pushing it off on someone else doesn't mean they're not going to get the same thing you do. And in reality, the way she pushes it, it just comes off as she's pushing it because then she can push the fact that monogamous relationships, and that is how it is as a part of the religion. So she can bring that aspect into it to try to get him away from the whole threesome thing, which he's made it clear he is not going anywhere from. So it comes off as really disingenuous. I mean, that's just what it comes off of at this point.
Being a believer in what God says how to love is kind of a roadmap of how to love properly.
E credi in Dio perché ti insegna come amare.
Non sono d'accordo.
So she's basically saying that, again, that's the whole Bible aspect of God says it needs to be this way, so you need to love this way, trying to come into the fact of you need to get away from threesomes because love your wife, honor your wife, love your husband, honor your husband, and all that. She's basically trying to get away from the whole threesome thing, bringing in the adultery thing and the Bible, bringing in the religion to kind of get him to distance himself from that belief. It's very clear what she's doing. And the fact is she is not being a godly person by being disingenuous about what her motives are. It's really clear what her motives are. Now, let's be clear. Even if you're a religious person, everybody sins. That's the way it is. If you try to make it seem like you're a religious person, you're not going to sin, like she's kind of almost underhandedly making it seem like, then you are having your issues of your own. And you don't have to be a religious person to see that and to see that what she's doing is not coming off as the morals that she is trying to instill. There's a big issue here and a lot of problems, and she needs to be honest about what she's doing. Go ahead and say, I want you to be religious, so then you're not going to want threesomes anymore. You might as well say that. Is it true? Is it going to work for him? Probably not, but you might as well go ahead and be honest about that aspect of it.
No, anche addirittura sembra che per lei sia più importante il credere che l'amare.
Ah.
Why are you so scared about the future with me?
So he said, that's the stepdad, whatever he is, the partner, if you will, been with the mom forever, just never got married, I guess. And he basically said, seems like the religion is more important to you than the believer. Or it seems like that for her, the religious aspect, to get him to be a believer, to get him to stop doing the things he's doing, is more important to you than actually the religion. Like, she's not coming off like, I genuinely worry about you. I think you need to have God in your life. I think you need to have all these great things that Christianity can instill. So maybe you should try the religion thing for us, for our aspect. No, it comes off as, I want you to do this so I can guilt you into stop doing what you want to do. Let me be clear, I don't agree with the threesomes thing he's talking about. It's ridiculous. He clearly needs some, if he's beating this drum, he is never going to have a good monogamous relationship and be able to truly have a love, because there's always going to be another woman in the picture. Always. But she is not being genuine at all about what she's really trying to do here. And she's hiding behind the guise of religion to really try to get him on board with something so he can be guilted. That's what it is. And she's trying to hide that fact. Luke and Meline are an interesting couple. Not really, though, because she clearly just wants someone who can take care of her, but she's only 19, so what do you really expect? And him, depending on when you think he started talking to her, it's just kind of weird anyway. But they're in a situation now where he's talking about a prenup because he does not want to lose or have to give up half of his vacation apartment that is an investment property. And so he's talking about a prenup. My stance on prenups, if you think you need one to protect yourself going into a marriage, you probably should rethink that marriage. Because if you're going into a marriage and you already think that thinking divorce and someone's going to take the stuff you had before you were married, then you have a big problem here. Because if you're not going to a marriage thinking forever and really believing that person is forever, then that is a big, huge problem. So I already have problems with prenups. Of course, she's throwing a tantrum and acting like the 19-year-old she is and not having it. Now, I don't really blame her, because her whole thing is, well, why don't you trust me? And he's trying to say, it's not that I don't trust you. It's 100% that you don't trust her. Because if you did trust her, you would be confident in this marriage going into it. But you're not, and you don't. So she's not wrong. But I still don't think you should be getting a prenup, because if you really think you need it, don't get married. That's where you need to be at. Clearly, you think there's something wrong there that could bite you in the later.
Why'd you do this to me?
We've never talked about this before. Meline. I've been scared to have this conversation with you because of this.
Okay, you're scared to have the conversation with her. Why do you feel like you need to have this conversation with her? The fact is you clearly don't think she's ready for marriage. You clearly don't think she's mature enough. You clearly don't think that she's going to be ready to be in it for the long haul. These are all things you need to be considering. Not, well, I don't want to lose my investment property when we get divorced in 6 months because she leaves me because I didn't have enough money to take care of her and she finds another sugar daddy. That's where your mind needs to be at. Oh, God. All right, listen, I can't deal with the ugly cry, man. The ugly cry, oh, my God, that's a pretty damn ugly cry. But she's crying because of the prenup. Okay, you don't feel like you're trusted. You're not trusted. He doesn't feel like he can trust her. He can't trust her. Why are y'all getting married again? Please remind me. And then you have Kyle and Annie. Kyle, the great white knight, riding in and giving women sperm because they just can't find someone because they need him so much. This guy is the joke of all jokes, riding around the world, gallivanting, getting women pregnant, and claiming it's because he just wants to, instead of just that he's got some white knight syndrome and is leaving a bunch of kids fatherless. Congratulations, you're an idiot. But he's also using it to constantly cheat on whatever woman he's with. In this case, Annie. And for some reason, she keeps making excuses and keeps saying that, when he does the sperm donation. It's not sperm donation. I mean, I guess he's giving up his sperm. It's a way to have unprotected sex with women and be able to explain it away by, I'm doing a service. He's got to be one of the worst people I've seen on this damn show. And yet she is still like, well, what are you going to do? Unprotected sex, I guess that's what's happening. And then I get to get second-handsies. My God.
I want Kyle to stop donating through sex, but somehow he can't give me like a final answer. So we're like stuck in this. What we are going to do, how we can make it work.
You're not going to make it work. That's the problem. In her mind, he doesn't want to give up donating sperm. Okay, he doesn't want to stop cheating on you. He doesn't want to stop having sex with other women. That's what it is. And you keep saying, we're stuck in this because he doesn't want to give it up. Lady, there's your answer right there. If he doesn't want to give it up, either you accept that you are in an open relationship and he's going to sleep with whoever the hell he wants, or stop calling it what it's not, which is, just donating sperm and helping them get pregnant, and it's just cheating on you, because he's already lied to you and say, it's just procedural. I'm like, you're still having sex with other women. Come on, give me a break, dude. Just stop. So why don't you admit what it is, which is him cheating on you, and either accept it or leave him, because it's not going to end. Because all you keep saying is, well, I still have feelings for you. Even though he's put you on some ridiculous point system saying you're doing well, he can't have a romantic moment to save his life with you. What are you doing here? What's going on? Come on.
Donating through sex to a woman in Australia. But what Annie doesn't know is that there's other women I donated naturally to recently. One in Norway and one in the UK.
Call me absolutely not shocked at all. This guy was not only lying to her about the one in Australia, but about other places too. So what he's doing is he's trying to get an STD test so he can soften the blow and say, hey, I don't have STDs, and by the way, I slept with other women too. But you're still having unprotected sex with a bunch of women, and then you're having secondhand sex with her, the person you're supposed to actually care about. But you're going to show an STD test, and if it comes up negative, that's supposed to soften the blow. Except that she's still going to be thinking about the hundreds of females you're going to continue to have sex with so they can have kids, and you're going to still call it sperm donation instead of calling it what it is, which is you cheating. God, man, this guy is horrible. Horrible.
I think she'll react well because she'll see how responsible I am.
So his thing is, if it's negative, she'll react well because she'll see how responsible he is. What if it comes up positive? Then are we just never going to hear about it again? No, it's showing it on the show. It'll probably come up negative. But you have got to have in your mind, even if you have a slight sense of relief because maybe you were thinking, oh, he might have some sort of STD, then you got to be thinking, well, maybe not now, but you just got lucky. You're got to be due soon. Because clearly you're having unprotected sex with randoms, not even just in the United States, but all over the world. Like increasing your chances tenfold because you increase your population. I mean, this guy should not be with anybody. And no one should be paying for his services of sperm donation. I mean, why is anyone entertaining this crap at all? It's ridiculous.
Aren't you a bit skeptical about that? Or how do you feel about that?
So in fact, he probably not just had sex with one woman, I think if you're saying it's one, maybe 3 or 4,
And there you go. There you go. See, she knows already even without him saying it. So when he comes to her and is like, yeah, clear STD test, hopefully. And by the way, I had sex with 2 other women in 2 other different countries. She should promptly say, I know, you're not fooling anybody. You think you're smart. You're really an idiot. And I'm done with you. That should be the end of it. But instead, she's like kind of laughing it off. Oh, it's probably 2 or 3. If you think that, why are you still with this guy any damn way? Like, something is wrong with you. You have got to have better options out there than this idiot. I mean, seriously, there has got to be a better option. I mean, you're not unattractive. Not at all. So you can't find someone better than this guy who has no chemistry, who clearly is going to cheat on you for the rest of your life. What is your reasoning here?
Tells her to run, but her heart tells her to stay with Kyle. And
her head tells her to run, but her heart tells her to stay with Kyle. Why the hell would her heart tell her to stay? Her head is correct, And there's so much evidence here. I don't know why her heart would be keeping her to stay. Even when he's like doing the whole really awkward, can I kiss you thing? I'm going to place my hand here. I'm coming over there. All right, it's got to be right. On the count of 3. 1, 2. There was no chemistry there. So how on earth are you even getting anything in your heart at this point? Like, your heart should be telling you to run for the hills and your head should be confirming it. That's what should be happening.
So I hope you had a good time.
You think I'm gonna to have a good time?
I'm just trying.
Realize, to be honest.
I think it's a.
No, let me talk.
It's a glass half.
Let me talk.
She said, realize. And then she said, let me talk. Okay, I just think, let me talk. And nothing. Like, what? Like, this is the 19-year-old coming out of here. This absolutely the 19-year-old. And like I said, to some extent, I feel for her a little bit because she's not wrong. If you don't trust me, then we shouldn't even be married. And it doesn't sound like you trust me if you need this prenup. But a prenup, in my mind, should not even be really enter the equation because that's just giving you something so if the marriage ends, which means you're not secure about it, which means why are you getting married in the first place? Your marriage should be for the long haul. Your marriage, you should do everything to make it work. Now, sometimes they don't work. I get it. It happens. But if you're going into a marriage feeling like you need a prenup and you're already having these doubts, then there's a big problem there. A big problem. And for him, it's just this vacation property. He's like, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. Well, if you think she's going to take that and this marriage is going to end and you have those doubts, don't marry her anyway. That's where you need to be at. And then there's Shawn and Douglas/Aaliyah. This is apparently a singer I am unfamiliar with because I don't really care that much about pop, but a singer nonetheless.
Mas você quer que eu tô com seu namorado, Shawn. E eu tenho uma pergunta pra te fazer.
That's crazy.
It's a question for you.
Você quer casar com ele?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, so Shawn decided that he is going to ask for marriage. Ultimately, though, he's kidding himself. If you're with someone who wants to be the different sex and you're attracted to the same sex, explain to me how that's going to work, especially when the surgeries come. He is fooling himself. He's trying to hold on to something that is not there anymore. And it's unfortunate because this is only going to end badly, and that is pretty clear.
Feel like the smart move is to just blindly think that this is going to be easy. I guess on some level we both know that there's things that need to be discussed, especially about her transitioning and how far down this journey we're going to go.
So you don't think that these questions were one that need to be asked before you ask for marriage? See, the concern is going to be how far is the transition process going to go? So what he's saying here is, well, depending on how far it goes, I might be okay with it. But if he decides to cut it off, I don't know if I'm going to be okay with it then. Don't you think that's a conversation you should have had before you asked for marriage? This is why this isn't going to work, and this is why this is going to be a huge problem. But of course, none of them are going to work. So is there any shocker here? Nope.
At this point, I feel like they're all ganging up on me.
At this point, I feel like they're all ganging up on me because I'm going to play the perpetual victim because they didn't say what I wanted to hear. The problem here is his parents said that, well, if he doesn't believe, it's okay what he doesn't believe. Talking about religion. She got mad because his mom did not back her saying, yeah, son, you need to have this religion. And he didn't even say anything unreasonable other than it's okay what you believe. I just don't believe that. That's about the extent of what he said. I have big disagreements with this guy because of the whole I have to have threesomes thing. It's so much passion, so much when you're never going to have a true relationship. If that's what you want, then do you, man. I have big problems with that. But her constantly trying to push the religion, clearly trying to use it as a scapegoat to get him to drop the threesomes thing, that's pretty clear. And then trying to get his mom and stepdad into it when they wouldn't bite and kind of just said, well, he can believe what he wants to believe. And now you want to get out of there because no one agreed with you and you say you're being ganged up on? Perpetual victim. The Victim Olympics have returned. And we're back.
To please a man, I am enough. I know God got me at the end of the day.
Everything that you're saying, I accept it. Okay, you had that moment. Everything changed in your life. You believe it was God. I don't. I believe...
Okay, so what he's saying here is that she was trying to say, I had all this time, I had all these bad times, these bad relationships, I did threesomes and everything, and then I found religion, and I know God got me. She's trying to sell it. She's like a bad used car salesman. If you really believe in what you're saying with Christianity, tell people about your story. Great. And then you hope they find it. You hope they find their way. You are pushing it like you're pushing an old 96 Honda Civic that's been sitting on the lot for 10 years. Instead of being like, hey, I accept you and I'm either going to accept what you are or not and leave, but now you're trying to push it and basically say this is a make or break if you don't accept what I'm saying to you. He has made it clear he doesn't. Now it's your decision. Either you leave or you don't. Ball's in your court. Instead, she keeps saying, but this all happened to me and I want this to happen to you. And he's like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it.
Respect and trust involved. And right now, I'm not seeing either or.
What happens if I never believe in God? It's gonna be a problem for you?
Yes.
There's your answer right there. He asked straight up, what happens if I never believe in God? Because she keeps pushing it. Is that going to be a problem for you? She says yes. Okay, so does the problem mean you're going to break it off? Because that's what this becomes. Are you going to break it off or not? If you stay in it and you're just like, I'm going to keep trying, then I don't know what you're trying to hold on to. Are you trying to hold on to the fantasy of, the Italian off the cliff sides near the water, Italian food, this great like vacation fantasy? Is that what you're trying to hold on to? Because it's not going to work with him. It's just not. So what is it? Because he clearly has what he likes and he's not going to change. You need to learn that. I think it's a control thing here. She's mad that he is not shifting for her. I think that's what it is. And she can't get him to shift. So as much as she's trying to push Christianity, she's not being a good Christian either. She wants to push religion and say, oh, all these things change in my life. But yet, I hate to break it to you, once someone becomes a Christian, there's a nice Bible verse in there, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Just because you're a Christian, just because you find religion, does not mean you don't sin, does not mean you don't do bad things. So she thinks if you magically find religion, then you're not going to magically go do threesomes or cheat on me and all that. Maybe he doesn't if he really believed it, or maybe he does. But you're treating it like this magical thing that doesn't take work. He is not interested. If he was interested, maybe you'd have something. And maybe one day he will be. But right now he's not. And you're mad that he is not taking what you're saying and just running with it. And that's a big problem. Either way, all these couples have a ton of issues. None of them are going to make it. I don't see any redeeming hope or qualities every week. None. It's entertaining. And, I hope one week it's like, oh, they clicked and they're going to make it work. But as of yet, no. And here we are, back where we started. No one's changing. Everyone's terrible. and that's just it. Every week from week to week. But I'm here for it because it's entertaining. I appreciate you being here. If you want to show your support, please drop a super thanks, or at least comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share it with your friends. Once we get to 1,000, we're going to be looking at that live show. I definitely appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all next time.